this is an approach that optimizes your existing structures. So as I was going about life, I learned how to reduce all the stress and live in this tiny little spot. But when I optimized my existing structures, I was able to function so much more effectively in the world that I was living in. And yeah, so we read through that, so we'll bypass it. So these are some quotes about reorganizational healing or reorganizational living. On rare occasions, one might step back and say, wow, that's a really good idea. Now might be the time for that. After looking at those quotes in the beginning of this class, I'd say it's definitely the time for this, okay? Because our country is doing very, very poorly, especially when we're compared to other countries, and we don't see those other countries often, right? We don't go into their healthcare system. We don't see how they're living. We don't see how they're spending it. We don't see their level of health. All we know is our country. But when we're comparing it to other countries, it's actually embarrassing, the way that we're performing. Reorganizational healing presents a radically new big picture view of health and healthcare that challenges the dominant disease care model of biomedicine. And then reorganizational healing, a health change model whose time has come. And I agree with all of those. So this is a functional MRI of someone's brain when it's participating in an activity, okay? This is pre-adjustment and post-adjustment. So this again is with this type of work that we practice in this room, network spinal analysis. Pre-adjustment, this person was told to do, tap your foot here, 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 and they had to do this foot maneuver that they'd never done before. So all this red stuff is the amount of activity, right, cortical activity that they're having in their brain. So they were using their brain pretty heavily. They really had to think and fire as they were doing that maneuver. They got on a table, they got a network spinal analysis adjustment session, and then they did a foot maneuver again, same thing, and they measured how much activity it took for them to do it afterwards. Do you see the difference in these two photos? Mm-hmm. Which one looks way more efficient, working smarter, not harder? The one on the right. Mm-hmm. Yeah? So if you could go through life and all of the things, the tasks that you did through life, if you used a fraction, I mean that's like a little tiny fraction compared to that of effort and energy to get everything done, do you think that your amygdala is going to go into that fight or flight firing all the time, or is it going to stay in that nice, calm place and let the body function in an optimal state? It's going to function in that optimal state. So another thing that I noticed, and I know we've talked about this, Latoya, when I started going through network care, I had a standard, right? I was in chiropractic school. I wanted to do really well and excel in everything that I did. And I worked really hard. And I did excel in everything that I did. After I started receiving network care, which was halfway through school, a year and a half in, I was in the busiest time of my life. I'd started seeing patients at this point. I had clinic hours. I was in school from 7 till 7 or 8 at night. This change happened in me. And all of a sudden, I became so calm and so peaceful. I retained information. I mean, I felt like someone gave me the pill from that movie, Limitless. Has anyone seen that movie, the green and the blue, red pill? I felt like someone gave me a pill. I basically stopped studying. I started retaining all of this information, and I actually started doing even better, especially in the practical things when I was having to think on my feet a lot. And this had been a long time pattern of me to push through for so long. So when I started receiving this work, it literally felt like someone just plugged me into the source of life. I felt so calm and so peaceful and so clear. And that is why I became a practitioner of this type of work, and that's why I brought this down here. So this is capable of changing lives. Not only that, but I was able to eat muffins for a year straight, and I hadn't been able to eat bread for over 8 years. And then I stopped eating muffins because I gained 10 pounds. But besides the fact that I could eat them, it was pretty awesome.